The carnival music echoed strangely off the golden streets. Every single thing in this town shimmered with a bright metallic sheen. The houses were like giant gold bricks lining the road, and the mansions on the hills looked like palaces for a king made of treasure. Even the cars and trucks parked along the curb were coated in the stuff, gleaming under the afternoon sun. My friend Leo and I walked down the main road, our sneakers squeaking on the polished gold pavement. We were headed to the annual town carnival, a place that was supposed to be fun but always gave me the creeps. Something about all this gold just felt wrong. It felt cold and hard, not warm and cheerful. We pushed through the golden gates of the carnival grounds. The air smelled of popcorn and cotton candy, but it was a weird sweet smell that mixed with the metallic scent of the town. Food vendors lined the midway, their carts shining so brightly it hurt to look at them. They sold golden apples and gilded hot dogs. Everyone around us wore masks, not just simple party masks, but elaborate, full-face coverings made of polished gold, shaped like animals or spooky jesters. You couldn't see anyone's real face, just the blank, smiling expressions of their golden disguises. It made it impossible to know who was who, turning the noisy crowd into a sea of anonymous, glittering strangers. Leo grabbed my arm, pointing toward the Ferris wheel. Its giant, circular frame was solid gold, spinning slowly against the sky. "Come on, let's get some food first," he said, his voice muffled by his own simple black mask. I wasn't so sure. I watched a person in a wolf mask hand a candy apple to a little girl. The apple was so perfectly golden it looked fake, like a trophy. I had a bad feeling, a knot tightening in my stomach that had nothing to do with hunger. The cheerful music from the carousel seemed to be playing a sinister tune, a soundtrack for something terrible that was about to happen. My eyes darted from one masked figure to the next. A person in a terrifying clown mask was watching us, or maybe they were watching someone behind us. It was impossible to tell. Suddenly, a scream cut through the air. It wasn't a happy scream from a thrill ride. It was a scream of pure terror. Everyone turned. A man had collapsed near the hot dog stand, clutching his stomach. His golden fox mask had fallen off, revealing a face twisted in pain. The happy carnival music didn't stop. It just kept playing its cheerful, eerie tune as the nightmare in the golden town began. Panic erupted. People started running, their golden masks bobbing in the frantic crowd. Another person fell near the ring toss game, then another. It wasn't just one person. It was happening all over the carnival. Leo and I backed away, pressing ourselves against the cold, hard wall of a golden funhouse. It was the food. It had to be the food. Someone was poisoning people. But this was more than just random chaos. I saw something that made my blood run cold. The person in the scary clown mask wasn't running. They were walking calmly through the mayhem, and they were holding a small, shiny dart gun. They aimed it, and another person screamed and fell. This was no accident. It was a hunt. These masked figures were targeting people, using poison food and silent, deadly weapons. We had to get out of there. "This way," Leo whispered, pulling me toward a side alley between two game booths. We ducked behind a stack of golden crates, our hearts pounding against our ribs. We could hear footsteps getting closer. Peeking through a crack, I saw two figures in identical jackal masks. They weren't panicking. They were searching, their heads turning slowly from side to side. One of them held a long, thin blade that glinted, reflecting the golden light of the street lamps that were just beginning to flicker on. We were trapped. The main exits were swarming with the hunters. They were methodically moving through the carnival, picking off their targets. Why? We didn't know. We just knew we had to become invisible. Camouflage, I breathed. An idea sparking in my terrified mind, I pointed to a nearby booth that was giving away prizes. The prizes were huge sheets of golden foil wrapping paper. It was a long shot, but it was our only chance. If we could blend in with this crazy golden world, maybe, just maybe, they wouldn't see us. We had to move, and we had to do it now. Crawling on our hands and knees, we scurried from the crates to the prize booth. The air was filled with screams and the haunting carnival music. It was a symphony of fear. We each grabbed a thick roll of the golden foil. It was heavy and crinkled loudly as we unrolled it around ourselves, creating makeshift cloaks. We looked ridiculous, like two leftover pieces of candy. But as we pressed ourselves against the golden wall of a nearby building, we started to disappear. We were just two more shiny surfaces in a town made of shiny surfaces. Now, the real challenge began. Escaping the carnival without being caught. Wrapped in our crinkly gold foil, we moved like statues trying to walk. Every step was a risk. We crept along the golden walls, moving from shadow to shadow, which wasn't easy when everything reflected light. The masked hunters were everywhere now, a silent army patrolling the gilded streets. We saw them drag people out of golden cars and from behind golden hedges. It was a city-wide trap, and we were the mice. Our only hope was to get to one of the mansions on the edge of town. Old Man Hemlock's place. Rumor was he had built a secret escape tunnel long ago, paranoid that someone would come for his gold. We just had to get there first. We managed to slip out of the carnival and onto a side street paved with gold cobblestones. A golden truck rumbled past, and we saw masked figures in the back, armed with rifles. We dove behind a solid gold mailbox, holding our breath. The truck didn't stop. They were sweeping the main roads. This gave us an idea. We needed a diversion. Leo pointed to a parked golden sports car. "The alarm," he mouthed. I nodded. It was risky, but it might draw the patrols away from our path. I found a loose piece of golden pavement, a golden rock basically, and hurled it with all my might at the car's window. The sound was deafening. The car's alarm shrieked through the quiet street, its lights flashing wildly. It worked. Within seconds, we heard the screech of tires as 2 patrol trucks raced toward the sound. This was our chance. While they were distracted, we sprinted across the street, our golden foil cloaks rustling. We scrambled over a golden fence and into the manicured gardens of the wealthy district. We were getting closer to Hemlock's mansion, but the houses here were like fortresses. Each one was a potential trap. We had to be smart. We had to be invisible. Our survival depended on blending into this world of blinding, terrifying gold. We finally reached the gates of Hemlock's mansion. It was a monstrous place, with golden gargoyles staring down at us from the roof. The gate was locked with a strange puzzle. It was a keypad, but with symbols instead of numbers. A sun, a crown, a coin, and a key. There was a riddle etched into a gold plaque beside it. I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I? I thought for a second, my mind racing. A map. The symbols corresponded to directions on a compass. Sun for east, crown for north. We solved the puzzle, and the heavy golden gates creaked open, inviting us into an even bigger trap. The inside of the mansion was a maze of gold, golden statues, golden furniture. Even the curtains were woven from golden thread. It was suffocating. We knew the hunters would have followed the trail of the open gate, so we had no time to waste. According to the town legends, the entrance to the escape tunnel was hidden behind a trick wall in the grand ballroom. We raced down a hallway, our footsteps echoing on the polished gold floor. The ballroom was enormous, with a golden chandelier the size of a car hanging from the ceiling. The walls were covered in portraits of the Hemlock family, all framed in, you guessed it, gold. One of the portraits, a stern-looking woman holding a golden key, looked different. It seemed to be mounted on a hinge. This had to be it, but as Leo reached for it, we heard a clicking sound. A trap! I pulled him back just as a section of the floor fell away, revealing a deep pit lined with golden spikes. My heart nearly stopped. This place was designed to protect treasure, not people. We looked closer at the portrait. The key she was holding had a specific design. We scanned the room and saw a matching golden key sitting on a mantelpiece across the room. It was another puzzle. Getting the key wasn't simple. The floor in front of the fireplace was a pressure plate. Stepping on it would likely trigger another trap. I found a long golden curtain rod and, lying on my stomach, carefully used it to slide the key off the mantelpiece. With the key in hand, we returned to the portrait. There was a tiny keyhole-shaped slot at the bottom of the frame. I inserted the key and turned it. With a low groan, the entire wall section with the portrait swung inward, revealing a dark, dusty staircase leading down into the earth. Freedom. It smelled of damp soil, a welcome change from the metallic air of the town. We didn't hesitate. We scrambled down the steps, pulling the heavy wall closed behind us. The sounds of the hunters entering the mansion faded as we descended into the darkness. The tunnel was long and winding, but it led us exactly where the legend said it would. Out into the woods, miles beyond the golden town's limits. We burst out from behind a tangle of bushes, breathing in the fresh, clean air. We looked back one last time. In the distance, the town shimmered under the moonlight, a beautiful, deadly mirage. We had survived the metallic mayhem. We turned our backs on the golden nightmare and never ever looked back.